Hello, and welcome back to our 10-part extended series on how to improve our democracy. My name is Josh Landers. I'm a student here at San Jose State in the Communication Studies Department. And for this project, I was under the tutelage, the guidance, and the supervision of our own forensics teacher, coach, and professor in the Communication Studies Department, Scott Lasco. So if you do enjoy this video, please, all credit goes to him. My name's Josh Landers, as I said, pronouns he, him, and let's get right into part 4 of our series on how to improve our democracy. For this episode, I'm going to be discussing ranked choice voting. All right, so before we go any further, I first would like to discuss what is a democracy. So, what is a democracy? Democracy comes from the Greek word demos, meaning people. In democracies, it is people who hold sovereign power over legislature and government. Although nuances apply to the world's various democracies, certain principles and practices distinguish democratic government from other forms of government. Democracy is government in which power and civic responsibility are exercised by all citizens, directly or through their freely elected representatives. So I want to pause right there and just explain for a minute the different types of democracy. So like in the original, like I'm discussing here, in the original forms of democracy back in Greece, it would be one man, one vote, a direct democracy, meaning that everyone there, they would have a decision to make and everyone would have a choice and they would count the votes and take the majority rule. But as societies grow, the United States is a 350 million plus population country, so it would be hard to gather everyone for a show of hands, if that makes sense, for every issue. So what America has is actually a representative democracy, meaning that instead of a one man, one vote for every single issue, we express our democratic power, our civic power, by electing the officials that will make decisions or vote on decisions for us. A perfect example of this is the city council here in San Jose. Right? So we vote, say we voted for Devora Davis for city council in Willow Glen, Zone 6. If we were to vote for her, we're using our democratic power to choose her to make decisions that would best represent our decisions, if that makes sense. So on a grander scale, we have this with Congress, we have this with the Senate, and so on and so forth. So I just wanted to be clear that there are different types of democracy. In the United States, the one we're trying to fix in this project, we have a representative democracy. So yeah, democracy rests upon the principles of majority rule coupled with individual and minority rights. All democracies, while respecting the will of majority, zealously protect the fundamental rights of individuals and minority groups. So we can't just strictly go by majority rule. Just a quick aside, because if the majority of people decided no Jews, let's kill the Jews, under a true majority rule, that would be acceptable, right? It's the will of the people, but democracy also is built on the principles of protecting the minority as well. So just a quick aside, democracies guard against all-powerful central governments and decentralized government to regional and local levels, as we discussed. Democracies understand that one of their prime functions is to protect such basic human rights as freedom of speech and religion, the right to equal protection under the law, the opportunity to organize and participate fully in the political, economic, and cultural life of society. All right, so I hope we all have a good understanding of what a democracy is, and now we can discuss how we can improve it. One way that I'm going to discuss today is ranked choice voting. So, what is ranked choice voting? Ranked choice voting, RVC, is also called instant runoff voting. Allows voters to rank their preferences in order, 1, 2, 3, etc. Voters can also do what they have always done, for example, just vote for their preferred candidate. In races which there are more than 2 candidates, if no candidate gets over 50% of the first choice ballots, the lowest ranked candidate is dropped. The second choices of his or her voters are counted and added to the higher ranked candidates. This process continues until a candidate gets over 50% and is declared the winner. The term instant runoff voting is sometimes used as a synonym for ranked choice voting. This system is to measure preventing very extreme candidates. So I hope you guys all understand what I'm saying here when I'm explaining what ranked choice voting is. Essentially, I, in the 2016 election, could have voted Bernie Sanders, then Hillary, then Donald Trump, for example. And someone could have voted Donald Trump, then Bernie, then Hillary, in order of their preference. So that's the logistics of how it works practically. But what does this do? Why do we do this? What this does is it allows or it forces politicians to politic and to campaign and try to win over not only their base and people in their party, but also people in the other parties, if that makes sense. So now, essentially, at the current state of affairs, there's only one vote, right? So, politicians are very concerned of speaking to their base and speaking to the people that already support them to ensure that vote. But if they were trying to earn second place votes from people like me, for example, then they would have to maybe change the way they speak, and it would tone down the they would offer more counter views, and it would tone down the extremism that we see today. So I hope that makes sense for everyone. I have a little video here um, that explains ranked choice, but we're gonna skip that today, just based off time. We're gonna go to the current state of voting, which is the plurality system. A plurality voting system is an electoral system in which the winner of an election is the candidate that received the highest number of votes. The candidate need not win an outright majority to be elected. This system is sometimes referred as first past the post or winner take all. So I love the winner take all part of this. Right now we have a winner take all system. It makes certain people very happy and it makes certain people very unhappy. But I think ranked choice voting would be a way to kind of blend those together so everyone could be more satisfied at the end of the vote and feel like they're being represented. Even if they didn't vote for that person as their first vote, they could still feel like they're being represented by their second vote. What is the purpose of ranked choice voting? Proponents like it because a candidate with a strong core supporters who is disliked by a majority of the voters should not be able to win under ranked choice voting, but can win under a plurality system. So this is what I was mentioning earlier. This system is a measure to prevent extreme candidates. In non-ranked choice voting elections, candidates benefit from mudslinging and attacking their opponent instead of sharing their positive vision with voters. This can lead to increasingly toxic and polarizing campaigns. Candidates also compete for second choice votes from their opponents' supporters, which lessens the incentive to run a negative campaign. So yeah, again, this would instead of it being a battlefield and shooting shots back and forth at each other in debates and things like that, I think it would become more of selling yourself and selling the positive things that you could do for the country or state or city. So as we move on, there are examples of ranked choice voting. RCV has been implemented in Maine and several other cities across the nation. Excuse me. It's been implemented in Maine and several other cities across the nation. Maine is the most prominent, using it for all federal offices and for state offices in the primary election. In other states such as California, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, North Carolina, Vermont, ranked choice voting is used or has been used for municipal or judicial elections. Ranked choice voting is a referendum question this year in statewide elections in Massachusetts and Alaska. It seems to have legs moving forward. So this is one of the reasons why I chose this as a possible solution to improve our democracy, because it is something that's already being implemented and is spreading fast. How would ranked choice voting improve our democracy? Ranked choice voting incentivizes candidates to appeal to a broader swath of voters from outside their campaigns. And truthfully, that is the number one reason why it would improve our democracy. It would force politicians not just to talk to their base, but actually to talk to everyone, to all Americans. Um, Ranked choice voting will encourage more moderate platforms. It would also encourage political candidates to consider every person when creating their platform or campaign. This new voting system would improve our democracy because it would ensure the most popular candidate wins the election, not just the person who serves his base. All right, so in conclusion, you have it right there. Ranked choice voting would improve our democracy for those reasons. Before I go, I wanted to give you a quick quiz on things that I've talked about. What does RVC stand for? This one should be easy if you've been paying attention. RVC, is it Recreational Valley Center, Ranked Choice Voting, Running Vascular Cardio, or Renewed Voting Coalition? Think about it. 3, 2, 1. The answer was B, Ranked Choice Voting. So in conclusion, ranked choice voting is the system in which you don't just vote for one candidate, but you rank the candidates in order of who you would like. What it would do, it would fight polarization and extremism, and it would force candidates to talk to a broader group of people, and not just focus so much on their base. All in all, I hope that would fight some of the issues that we're facing in our democracy and leave us with a stronger democracy. I thank you so much for your time, and I will see you on the next episode.